The evening of March 31st, 2022, began with an ominous calm in Jacksonville, Florida. Beneath the surface of suburban normalcy brewed a storm of desperation and tragedy that would shatter the lives of many. Pamela Cabrera, a troubled mother grappling with mental health struggles, made an irreversible decision that night, setting into motion a chain of events that would lead to heartbreak, loss, and justice. Pamela Cabrera had lost custody of her 5-year-old daughter, Vanity, 2 years prior. Vanity had been placed under the care of her aunt, a decision made in the best interest of the child by the Department of Children and Families. But Cabrera's anguish over this separation simmered until it erupted. Despite multiple attempts to abduct Vanity from her school and home, she had been thwarted, until that fateful evening. The clock ticked toward 8 p.m. when Cabrera arrived at her sister's home in North Jacksonville. This time, her resolve was unyielding. She took Vanity and sped off, defying custody arrangements and the law. The family alerted authorities immediately, triggering a manhunt that would culminate in tragedy. An officer with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office spotted Cabrera's car at the intersection of Biscayne Boulevard and Dunn Avenue. What followed was not merely a pursuit. It was a harrowing, high-speed chase that spanned 30 miles and reached speeds upwards of 90 miles per hour. Cabrera's vehicle became a blur of reckless motion, running red lights and careening along the inside shoulder of Interstate 95 South. Each turn of her wheels seemed to be driven by desperation, but it was also steering her closer to disaster. As officers pursued her, Cabrera attempted to exit the interstate toward Florida. In a split-second decision that proved catastrophic, she misjudged the ramp. Her car veered off course, plunging into a retention pond.
A nearly 30-minute chase.
Hey, there's a victim in there, right?
Pamela Cabrera driving.
We need to get in there.
She did not have custody of her daughter, Vanity.
Come on, let's go.
Reportedly kidnapping the child.
Come on, we're gonna enter the water.
Officers began searching the pond.
There's one out! One's out! One's out!
At the 9B exit off I-95. Searching. Some still wearing their body camera. But despite their efforts, the minutes ticked by. They were able to locate Cabrera.
Come on, man.
Initially, some confusion. Was she the suspect or the victim?
Second person. In the car. Huh? In the car. Still in the car.
But soon a realization. One was still missing.
Yeah, we just got her out.
Okay, is there a kid in there? All right.
There's a kid in the car.
There's a small kid. Small kid in the car.
More rope.
Fresh crews,
Here, tie that off to it.
a dive team. Still no luck. And no child. The crews began to wrap up.
People are giving up.
Recapping what they knew,
Passenger side, front passenger seat. About an 8-year-old kid.
what they'd seen,
Straight on the ramp. Didn't even hit the brakes.
what they'd done.
I hope that kid's...
Kid's dead. Kid's dead. Like an 8-year-old little child. That's why I wasn't going to let go. That's why I wasn't giving up.
Officers on the scene watched in horror as the vehicle began to submerge. Cabrera emerged from the car, clinging to a tire for survival. Her cries for help pierced the night air, but they were chillingly devoid of urgency for the life of her daughter. Vanity, strapped into the front seat, remained trapped as the vehicle sank to the murky depths. Officers dove into the water in a desperate bid to save the child, but it was too late. By the time the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office dive team retrieved the vehicle, the little girl's lifeless body was all that remained. The tragedy gripped the community, and Cabrera's actions faced intense scrutiny. Why did she save herself, but leave her child behind? Family members pointed to her struggles with mental health as a key factor. Cabrera, in her defense, expressed profound remorse in a statement read by her attorney. "I'm very regretful for actions that resulted in my daughter's passing. I'm still suffering about my daughter, Vanity. I've been on my medications for 2 years, and I plan on staying on my medications, so something like that doesn't happen again." In the courtroom, Cabrera pleaded guilty to aggravated manslaughter of a child and aggravated fleeing or attempting to elude law enforcement causing death. Her plea was a grim acknowledgement of her culpability. Pamela was sentenced to 30 years in Florida State Prison after pleading guilty to aggravated manslaughter of a child and aggravated fleeing or attempting to elude law enforcement causing death. The court considered her plea, mental health struggles, and the severity of her actions in determining the sentence.
Your plea to the court was to counts 1 and 3 with a range between 10 and 30 years. After hearing the presentation from both sides and taking into consideration aggravation and mitigation that's provided, regardless of the guidelines, based on the serious nature of the offense, as to count 1 and count 3, based on the plea, the maximum being allowed is 30 years. The court sees fit that based on the aggravation involved to sentence you to the maximum allowed. You'll be adjudicated guilty on counts 1 and 3. You'll be sentenced to 30 years. It's concurrent on both counts.
The tragic kidnapping of Vanity by her mother, Pamela Cabrera, highlights the complexities of familial abduction, mental health struggles, and systemic failures. Unlike stranger abductions, familial cases often stem from emotional desperation, as seen in Cabrera's repeated attempts to take Vanity. Her actions reveal unresolved pain from losing custody, likely worsened by untreated mental health issues. Vanity's death raises questions about whether earlier intervention could have prevented the tragedy. Cabrera's reckless chase and failure to save Vanity emphasize her instability. This case underscores the urgent need for stronger mental health resources and protective measures in family disputes. Thank you for watching another episode of Silent Evidence. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support truly means a lot and helps us continue bringing you compelling content. Thank you to our returning subscribers for your continued support. It means the world to us. Also, leave a comment to share your insights and help others learn from your perspective.